Hello, class. Welcome. I hope that you're having a good week. Today, I'm going to show you how to add a few more bits of type elements, and I'm going to show you how to add some drop shadows in too to make things stick out. This is where we're at right now. The other day, I showed you about making the Sports Illustrated type. I'm going to just knock out the background here in this background layer. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add the "and the author" text up here, as well as I'm going to add the drop shadow to our Sports Illustrated text that we made the other day. So let's just zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to zoom on this area. Actually, that was the Control space bar. That was the quick key for the magnifying glass. You could also just do it that way or hit the Control plus. So we want to try and match up our fonts as best we can. I admit that the fonts on here are not the greatest. If I was at home doing this, I could find that exact font on the internet, download it, install it on my machine, but unfortunately we're locked out of these computers, so I can't do that. So we're just going to do the best we can. So I'm just going to go cap locks and oops, I guess I had it on already. And the author. Let's blow that font up a little. I'm going to increase the size. Click, 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 click. Okay, get her somewhat close. Now, I do know the closest font. I could just scan through all my fonts and look for it. And actually, this is what I did before I started recording. The best one that I can that I gotta go to, and actually, we're not going to do it this way. I just know if I just type in RO, I get the Rockwell font. It's the best one that we have. That's the closest. There are other ones, like if you there is a Rockwell condensed, but that's a little too condensed. So I think I'm just best off if I just hit that and I'm just going to put a squeeze on it by hand. Sometimes, you ever notice that InDesign doesn't have any buttons where you click bold or anything? That's because the fonts have stuff like bold built into it. If I were to go Rockwell and it says regular, oh, here's where all the bold and the bold italic and the italic stuff comes. That's where like Microsoft Word gets all this from. And so InDesign just wants you to do it manually the right way. So let's match up our fonts as best we can. So let's just get it about the right size. And I'm just going to blow up the font to about the right size. And match that about there. Yep, pretty good. Okay, now let's put a squeeze on it. I could put a squeeze on it a couple of different ways. Either, and the easiest way, is to just click on the free transform tool, this guy right here, and just put a squeeze on it by hand. And that's the easiest way. The other way is to do it by the numbers. If I were to click on my type tool, you have those attributes. I think I showed you this the other day. And if I were just to put a number squeeze on it, like say 85% of the width, then you can squeeze it that way. Let's make it about 80. Let's make it 82. Okay. Pretty close. The letter spacing is a little bit not bad. I'm just going to go in here, Alt right. The letters aren't perfect. Let's move over a bit. Oh, I don't see my scroll bar. Okay, I gotta do it this way. See, I went back to the move tool, and then I hit the space bar because, well, I wouldn't want to hit the space bar while I have the type tool function on, because then that would just add spaces now, wouldn't it? Oh, my O is right off. All right, let's 75 to the O. 70 to the O. Major squeeze on the O. Okay. So we're going to make it white. Zoom back a bit. And I have my type color up here, and I can just go like that. That's the easiest way. Or I could hit swatches. Oh, I see that there's a stroke on this font. I do not remember adding that. Let's go none. All right, we're good. So let's add a, oh, you know what I did? I must have added it to here. What the heck? Okay, let's just make our stroke none then. And why did it go back to... Okay, wait a second. I'm going to go back to here. I want to make... Oh, maybe because it was selected. I must have had the stroke highlighted here. Oh, okay. I learned something today. Okay. So we have that. We want to add a drop shadow. You know what? Sometimes I forget where the things are up here. I know that the key command is Control-Alt-M. I get so used to adding the key commands. Well, let's see if we can find it. It's just called Effects. Oh, yeah, no, that's not it. It's oh, if I had where is it? Okay, Control-Alt-M. Isn't that funny? It's somewhere here. Okay, Control-Alt-M. I'm just going to add it, and then you know, just like all the things like in Photoshop, you have like outer glow and inner glow. But what we want to do is we want to add a drop shadow, and so this is the distance the shadow is from the type. Let's make that smaller. Okay, and this is the size of the blur. Let's make that smaller. It's actually quite something like that, and so it stands out. Okay. So if we look at this and we kind of look at the two, that's actually pretty good. Now let's do that to Sports Illustrated. Now this is going to be a little tricky because we don't want the drop shadow from the S to overlap the bottom line here. So that's where it might get a little tricky. Let's see. Oh, I got to move this guy out of the way so I can get at this. Okay, so Control-Alt-M. When I come back, I'll show you where it is on the up here, but I don't want to bore you on the tutorial. So the default isn't that bad. Let's zoom in so I can be a little bit more precise. But if you'll notice on the original, it's actually quite a hard edge here. Okay, so let's add a little bit. Let's make the our shadow quite large, or quite harsh. Control-Alt-M. And the blur size, we're going to make super small. Like, let's go try 0.5. What does that look like? Oh, yeah, that's pretty harsh. And it's actually quite black, so let's make the opacity, like, right on there. And then our distance is, I believe, quite a bit less. Let's make a point, I don't know, 0.8, I guess. Not bad. How did we make out? I don't know. That's pretty good. Now, there is a little bit of a line on top of that, but I've already added a stroke to my actual text here. I wonder if I can. In here, if I were to give like an outer glow, that's going to look like crap, I think. What if I were to add, and you can't add a stroke in here. Oh, let's just try it. What the heck? Let's just go black. And let's click OK. Yeah, it does kind of help offset it, but I think that we're good just to not do it. All right, so if we move this guy back to where he was. Oops. There we go. We're getting a little closer, hey? We're getting a little closer. We're going from this. We've got our type. It's got a drop shadow behind it. We've got this type, and it's got that harsh drop shadow behind it. We have our guy who's still he's quite pixelated. We know how to fix that. We go View, Display Performance, and High Quality. Now the next day, which I guess will be Monday, or I'll be back. There's no lesson tomorrow if you're watching this on Thursday. But when I come back, we'll start getting into changing the background, and we're going to add a blurred photo in the background there. Okay? Good luck, guys. I hope you have a good week, good weekend. Take it easy.